Have you ever felt a little lightheaded after cleaning the bathroom? Or maybe noticed your hands feeling dry and irritated after tackling the kitchen sink? It's something many of us experience without really giving it a second thought. We just reach for the products we've used for years, the ones that promise sparkling results and a germ-free home. We want our homes to be clean, safe havens, places where we can relax and feel comfortable. But what if some of the very products we rely on to achieve that cleanliness could actually be posing a hidden risk? Especially as we get a little older, it's a painful reality to consider that something as routine as cleaning could potentially impact our health in ways we don't immediately see. The secret is that our bodies change as we age, and what was once harmless or easily tolerated might become more of a concern. Our skin might be more sensitive, our respiratory systems a little more delicate, and even our detoxification pathways might not be as efficient as they once were. In this video, we're going to lift the lid on this topic and look at 3 common cleaning products you might want to avoid if you're over 70, and more importantly, we'll talk about some simple, safer alternatives that work just as well. You deserve to have a clean home without worrying about what's in the air or on the surfaces. So, let's dive in and make sure your cleaning routine is truly serving your well-being. Watch to the end, because I'm going to share something that might genuinely surprise you about one of these everyday items. Let's start with the first cleaning product that many people over 70 might want to rethink using regularly. And that's those powerful, strong-smelling drain cleaners. You know the ones I mean. The liquids or gels you pour down a slow drain. And they promise to blast through clogs in minutes. They contain incredibly harsh chemicals. Things like sodium hydroxide, which is lye, or sulfuric acid. These substances are designed to dissolve hair, grease, and other stubborn blockages. And while they can be effective at that, the process often releases potent fumes into the air. These fumes can be incredibly irritating to the eyes, nose, throat, and lungs. For anyone, inhaling strong chemical fumes isn't ideal. But for someone over 70, it can be particularly problematic. As we age, our respiratory systems can become more sensitive. Conditions like asthma or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease (COPD) are more common, and even without a specific condition, our lungs might not be as resilient as they used to be. Breathing in those harsh chemical vapors can trigger coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath, and exacerbate existing respiratory issues. Imagine just trying to clear a slow shower drain and suddenly finding yourself struggling to catch your breath or having a persistent cough for the rest of the day. It's a risk that simply isn't worth it when there are safer options available. Beyond the respiratory dangers, these powerful chemicals can also cause severe burns if they come into contact with your skin or eyes. Accidents can happen, a splash or a spill, and recovering from a chemical burn can be much more challenging as you get older. Our skin might be thinner and heal more slowly. Plus, simply handling these bottles requires careful attention. And sometimes our dexterity or grip might not be as strong as it once was, increasing the chance of an accidental spill. Think about the potential for a fall if you're rushing to clean up a spilled corrosive substance. It's a whole chain of potential problems stemming from one powerful product. Another point to consider is the simple fact that these chemicals are extremely toxic if accidentally ingested. While we're all careful, sometimes medications are kept in places that could be mistaken, or labels can be hard to read. Keeping highly toxic substances in the home increases the overall risk profile, especially in a multi-generational household or if cognitive changes are a concern. So, what are the safer alternatives to these harsh drain cleaners? Thankfully, there are several effective options. One of the simplest and often most effective methods for a slow drain is using boiling water. Just carefully pour a kettle of boiling water down the drain. This can often loosen grease and soap scum that cause minor blockages. If that doesn't work, a combination of baking soda and vinegar can be surprisingly effective. Pour half a cup of baking soda down the drain, followed by a cup of white vinegar. It will fizz up. That's the chemical reaction happening. Let it sit for 15–30 minutes, and then flush with hot water. This is a natural, non-toxic way to tackle many clogs. For more stubborn blockages, a drain snake or a plumbing auger is a mechanical solution that doesn't involve any chemicals at all. These tools can physically break up or pull out the clog. They might require a little effort, but they are infinitely safer than pouring corrosive chemicals down the drain. There are also enzyme-based drain cleaners available that use biological processes to break down organic matter. These work more slowly than chemical cleaners but are much safer for your pipes and your health. Look for products labeled as enzyme cleaner or septic safe, as they typically contain these safer ingredients. The key takeaway here is that while those powerful drain cleaners might seem like a quick fix, the risks they pose, particularly to respiratory health and skin, are elevated for people over 70. Choosing mechanical methods or natural alternatives like baking soda and vinegar, or even gentler enzyme cleaners, is a much wiser approach to keeping your drains flowing smoothly without putting your health at risk. It's about making conscious choices for a safer home environment. Now that we've discussed the dangers of harsh drain cleaners and some safer swaps, let's move on to the next common cleaning product you might want to reconsider. Moving on to the second common cleaning product that can pose risks, especially as we get older, is the widespread use of antibacterial cleaners and disinfectants, particularly those containing quaternary ammonium compounds. Often listed as quats or ingredients ending in ammonium chloride, these are found in many sprays, wipes, and all-purpose cleaners marketed to kill 99.9% of germs on the surface. They seem like a good idea, keeping things germ-free. But there are a few reasons why excessive use or even regular use of these might not be the best strategy, especially for those over 70. Firstly, much like the drain cleaners, many disinfectants, including those containing quats, can release volatile organic compounds VOCs into the air. While not as acutely corrosive as drain cleaner fumes, these VOCs can still irritate the respiratory system and contribute to poor indoor air quality. Spending a lot of time in a freshly disinfected space with poor ventilation can lead to headaches, dizziness, and respiratory discomfort. Again, if you have any underlying lung conditions, this is definitely something to be mindful of. Secondly, there's growing concern about the long-term health effects of frequent exposure to quats. Some studies suggest a link between exposure to these chemicals and potential impacts on respiratory health, and even skin irritation or allergic reactions, as skin tends to become more sensitive and potentially drier with age. Coming into regular contact with these disinfecting agents, even through wipes, can cause dryness, redness, itching, and discomfort. Think about how often you might wipe down surfaces, kitchen counters, doorknobs, light switches, especially if you're trying to be diligent about preventing the spread of colds or flu. That frequent contact adds up. Furthermore, there's a debate in the scientific community about whether constant disinfection is even necessary or beneficial in a typical home environment. Our immune systems benefit from being exposed to a certain level of microbes. Creating an overly sterile environment might not be supporting your natural defenses in the long run, while disinfecting surfaces makes sense in specific situations, like after someone has been ill or preparing raw meat. Routine daily disinfection of every surface might be overkill and expose you unnecessarily to potentially irritating chemicals. So, what are the safer alternatives for everyday cleaning and killing germs? Simple soap and water are incredibly effective. Soap physically lifts dirt, grease, and microbes from surfaces, and the action of washing them away with water is what truly cleans. You don't necessarily need harsh chemicals for general cleaning. For disinfecting when it is needed, solutions like hydrogen peroxide or rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, can be effective, though they still require careful handling and ventilation. A much milder and often effective disinfectant is white vinegar. Diluted vinegar, a 1:1 ratio with water, can kill many common bacteria and viruses on surfaces. It has a strong smell initially, but it dissipates quickly, and it doesn't leave behind harmful chemical residues or irritating fumes in the same way that many commercial disinfectants do. You can use a spray bottle with a vinegar and water solution for wiping down counters and other non-porous surfaces. Just be aware that vinegar is acidic, so it shouldn't be used on porous surfaces like granite or marble, or on electronic screens, as it can damage them. For floors, a simple solution of warm water and a mild, pH-neutral soap is usually sufficient for cleaning. If you want to disinfect, you could use a diluted vinegar solution on appropriate floor types. The key is to be intentional about when you disinfect rather than making it a routine for every cleaning task, and to choose products with simpler, less irritating ingredients. Opting for soap and water for general cleaning and using milder alternatives like vinegar or hydrogen peroxide, only when disinfecting is truly necessary, reduces your exposure to potentially harmful chemicals and supports a healthier indoor environment. It's about finding a balance and using the right tools for the job. Prioritizing your health and comfort. And that brings us to the third and final common cleaning product we're going to look at today. The third common cleaning product that people over 70 might benefit from avoiding or significantly reducing their use of is air fresheners, particularly aerosol sprays, plug-ins, and gels that contain synthetic fragrances. Now, you might think of air fresheners as harmless, just adding a pleasant smell to your home. But the reality is that many of these products contain a cocktail of chemicals, including phthalates, formaldehyde, and various volatile organic compounds VOCs, designed to mask odors or release artificial scents into the air. The term fragrance on a product label can hide a complex mix of dozens or even hundreds of these chemicals. As manufacturers are not required to disclose the specific ingredients used to create a scent blend, when these chemicals are released into your home's air, you breathe them in. For anyone, this can potentially cause issues. But for older adults, the effects can be more pronounced or trigger specific sensitivities. Phthalates, for example, are chemicals used to make fragrances last longer, but there are concerns about their potential links to hormonal disruption. And while more research is needed, avoiding unnecessary exposure seems prudent. Formaldehyde, another chemical sometimes found in air fresheners often released from preservatives or other ingredients, is a known irritant and classified as a carcinogen. While the amounts released from a single air freshener might be low, cumulative exposure from multiple sources, new furniture, building materials, cleaning products can add up. The VOCs and other chemicals in synthetic fragrances are notorious triggers for respiratory irritation, headaches, and allergic reactions. Many people experience sneezing, coughing, watery eyes, or even breathing difficulties when exposed to strong artificial scents. If you already have respiratory sensitivities, asthma, or allergies, using these products can significantly worsen your symptoms. Imagine trying to enjoy a quiet afternoon at home, but the plug-in air freshener in the hallway is constantly irritating your lungs. It detracts from your comfort and potentially impacts your health. Furthermore, these products don't actually clean the air or remove odors. They simply cover them up with a stronger scent. If you have an underlying odor issue, like dampness or mildew, masking it with an air freshener doesn't solve the problem and can expose you to chemicals on top of the source of the bad smell. It's a double whammy of unhealthy air quality. So, what are the better ways to keep your home smelling fresh and clean without relying on synthetic air fresheners? The most effective solution is always ventilation. Opening windows and doors to let in fresh air for even a short time each day can dramatically improve indoor air quality and dissipate odors naturally. This is particularly important after cleaning or cooking. If weather permits, aim for cross-ventilation by opening windows on opposite sides of your home. Another great way to tackle odors is to identify and eliminate the source. Is there a trash can that needs emptying, pet bedding that needs washing, a drain that needs cleaning? Using the safer methods we discussed earlier, addressing the root cause is always better than masking it. For pleasant natural scents, consider using essential oils in a diffuser, but use them sparingly and ensure the area is well ventilated. High-quality essential oils are concentrated and powerful, so a little goes a long way. Stick to simple, well-known scents like lemon, lavender, or peppermint. Be cautious of complex blends unless you know exactly what's in them. Another simple trick is to place bowls of baking soda in areas where odors tend to linger, like near litter boxes or in the refrigerator. Baking soda is a natural odor absorber. Indoor plants can also help improve air quality. Although their impact on specific chemical odors is debated, they certainly add freshness and life to a home. Lastly, simple things like simmering spices, cinnamon sticks, cloves, or citrus peels in a pot of water on the stove can create a lovely, natural aroma, although this requires supervision. The surprising thing I mentioned at the beginning of the video about one of these everyday items relates specifically to these artificial fragrances. Many of the chemicals used to create these scents are derived from petrochemicals and can release VOCs, including some linked to concerning health effects. The lack of transparency about what goes into fragrance means you're often exposing yourself to unknown chemicals every time you spray that freshener or plug in that device. It's a hidden source of indoor air pollution that's easily overlooked, but can have a real impact on how you feel day to day. Choosing natural methods for air freshening, focusing on ventilation, and eliminating odor sources are much healthier approaches to maintaining a pleasant-smelling home. It's about creating a truly fresh environment, not just a fragrantly masked one. So, we've talked through 3 common cleaning products that you might want to be more mindful of using. As you get older, those powerful chemical drain cleaners, the ubiquitous antibacterial sprays and wipes with harsh disinfectants, and synthetic air fresheners. It's not about living in a dirty house. Far from it, it's about being smart and making choices that support your health and well-being while still keeping your home clean and comfortable. We looked at how harsh drain cleaners can irritate your lungs and skin, and how simple boiling water, baking soda and vinegar, or a mechanical snake are much safer options. We discussed how constant use of strong disinfectants and antibacterial cleaners can expose you to irritating chemicals and might not even be necessary for everyday cleaning, suggesting soap and water, vinegar, or hydrogen peroxide for targeted use. And we explored how synthetic air fresheners, while making your home smell nice, can fill the air with chemicals that irritate your respiratory system and contribute to poor indoor air quality. Recommending ventilation, odor source removal, and natural methods like essential oils or baking soda instead. Making these small changes doesn't have to be overwhelming. You don't need to throw everything out overnight. Maybe start by switching out just one product when it runs out. Try the baking soda and vinegar trick for a slow drain next time, instead of reaching for the strong stuff. Or swap your daily antibacterial wipe for a damp cloth with a little dish soap for wiping down counters. Instead of plugging in that air freshener, open a window for a bit. Remember, small changes really can make a big difference to your health and happiness. Your home should be a place where you feel safe, comfortable, and where the air you breathe is as clean as possible. You've worked hard to create your home, and you deserve to enjoy it without worrying about hidden chemical exposures. Taking simple steps to reduce harsh chemicals in your cleaning routine is an act of self-care, protecting your lungs, your skin, and your overall well-being. It's about empowering yourself with knowledge and making informed choices. Don't let the marketing on bottles convince you that you need the strongest, most chemical-laden product to have a clean home. Often, the simplest solutions are the best, both for the environment and for our health. If you've tried any of these safer alternatives, or if you have your own favorite natural cleaning tips, I'd love to hear about them. Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. It's wonderful to build a community where we can share ideas and support each other in living healthier lives. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a like. It helps us know we're providing content you value, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss future videos on how to live your best life at every age. Taking care of yourself, your home, and your health go hand in hand. Keep embracing these simple, positive steps and continue to live your best life at every age.